Today we are going to look at an instrument that we use in our daily life, which is the mind. We use our mind in everything that we do, whether it's our jobs, whether it's our relationship, or whether it's our anxieties. So even though it's something that dictates a lot of our time or a lot of the activities that we do in our daily life, it's something that we do not pause to observe. So let's look at something specifically for this video, which is the basis of the brain, which is thought, right? And so I don't want us to look at what we think about thought, but I want us to look at the mechanism of thought, the machinery of it. I want us to look at the movement of thought so that we have a better understanding of it. So, part one is the investigation. So this is where the question comes of what is thought? Instead of just having a description of it, I want to paint the picture of what it is. Okay, so first of all, we have to look at thought as memory. So thought is something that cannot be new, meaning thought is a response of memory. So thought is a response of memory, of conditioning, of the past. So a good way to look at this is ask yourself, if I had no memory, would I be thinking? And that's where you see that thinking is a movement of memory. This comes to now looking at the mechanical nature of thought. When we look at what we mean by mechanical, it's something that's repetitive, right? It's constantly doing the same thing over and over. Regarding thought, let's observe that thought is triggered by external stimulus, and that thing that is triggered by is, let's say, an image or a word or an insult or a compliment. Whatever that external stimulus is, it hits the brain, and the response of that is thought reacting according to its conditioning. So it reacts in a predictable and in a repetitive manner because it is referring to its own conditioning. It's not something new. It's something from the past. So that's why you're saying it's mechanical. Also, we have to look at how thought is fragmentary, meaning not whole. It's like when you take a circle and it's broken up into pieces. So the reason why I say it's fragmentary is simply because thought breaks up the world in order to process it. So how you see how thought acts is there is good and there is bad. There is me and there is you. There is my country and there is your country. And when you see that, that's an actual fact, because of looking at the world today. You see there is wars between countries, all the way down to an individual, where there is the good and there is the bad, or there is the me and there is the you. It goes from how the world is all the way to how we are. So it's something universal. Now let's look at this. Let's share this observation of it. So take a moment. Listen to the sounds around you. Now notice how quickly thought rushes in to name the sound. That is a car. That is the wind. We now observe, right, from that the word separates you from the pure experience. So when you're listening to a bird, there is the sound, and then there is the word of saying, that is a bird. And that instantly separates you from the experience. That's how you know thought is fragmentary. Now, let's look at Let's now deconstruct, right, how thought works in our environment or in our lives, right? Now let's look at the implications in society. So we've seen that thought is fragmented. And we've seen also in the beginning of the video, I said that thought is the basis of our lives and our society, right? So it means our lives and our society is fragmented by thought. So we are constantly caught in a conflict because thought has divided this world and ourselves apart, like a lot of times. So there's this opposing parts that are fighting. Like if a country and another country, if they believe they are two separate things, then that division inherently there is conflict, right? Same with in our lives. My work is different from my relationships, then this creates a conflict. So let's look at this illusion, right, of the thinker, where I want us to look at this approach, right? Let's say thought, right, creates a problem, whether it's fear, whether it's desire, whether it's anger. Then thought comes and says, I want to fix it. It says I must control my anger or I must control my anxiety, right? But here is where it comes to be interesting, where what is the I that wants to control the anger or the anxiety, right? I want us to look very closely on this. And when you look at the I or the thinker, isn't it just a thought, right? It's just another thought. It's not something outside of thinking. It is a product of thinking, right? The difference is it's just a fragment of our memory of our thinking that has taken authority over other fragments, right? So it's the one that says, oh, this anger came up, right? And this should not be there. Or pleasure came up. This should be here. So it's a fragment that assumes authority over the other fragments, right? When you look at what this does, right, meaning the thinker and separate from the thoughts, thought cannot fix another thought because they are not different, right? It's like a dog chasing its tail, right? The tail is the dog, right? So a dog chasing its tail is the same way, when you look at it, the thinker taking authority over thoughts. So you can look at when the thinker is trying to suppress thoughts, it's the same way a dog trying to catch its tail, right? It cannot control it because it is thought. So when you see the thinker is a thought, and here is thought, we look at it as two separate things. But it's actually one thing because the thinker is thought, so it's in the same place. So this is wasted energy because it's something fighting itself, right? And you look in nature, when something is fighting itself, it is wasting its energy, right? So now let's look at dealing with the root. So when you look at it and we say the thinker is not different from the thought, it means any kind of control, any kind of judging, any kind of indulging, any kind of sustaining it is futile, right? And so I hope you see completely or you understand that the effort to fix ourselves is just a waste of our energy, right? It's just us. It's just like a dog chasing its tail. Now, this is where it comes to now observation of what we've been doing. Observe for yourself that thought trying to control itself is just a waste of energy. So, when thought realizes that fighting itself is wasting energy, then what is left, right? What is left now? You see, the only thing that's left now is observation. And so this is an act of looking without a center, right? Without the past memories, judgments, or image filtering reality, right? It's not images filtering reality. When you look at your fear, your ambition, or the world around you, without the observer judging it, the truth of the matter reveals itself instantly, without distortion. In that pure observation, there is no conflict. And where there is no conflict, there is the beginning of total freedom. So don't take my word for it. As you go through your day, just watch the machinery. Watch the thinker trying to control thought and see what happens when you simply watch. So the point here is we seem that trying to control thought is simply thought fighting with itself, which you've said it's like a dog chasing its tail, right? And so, what is left when you realize that thought fighting itself is wasting energy? We see that what is left is observation, because thought naturally comes quiet and it takes its place, right? So you simply watch it. I'm not saying stop thinking or anything like that. I'm saying simply watch, right? Whatever thought brings up, whatever it says, just simply watch, and you'll find that it will. A lot of things will reveal itself to you, right? Yep. This is a basis of what the next episodes will be talking about. Approach the next episodes as observation, not reaction or reviewing or evaluating. Simply just look the fact of it, right? Listen for yourself closely, and in the next episode we are going to talk about observation. We are going to detail out more and more about what is observation before we go to the next topics. So, yeah.